Hello and welcome to Practically Effective. This is a podcast about effects, props and stunts in various films. It's presented by Will and myself, Joe, and today we're talking about Die Hard.
My favourite Christmas movie.
It is a great Christmas movie.
Fun for all the family. Is it rated 15, did it say?
18.
18, no.
Fun for some members of the family.
family.
There is still a lot of murder in it.
There's a lot of murder in it. There's at least 12.
At least 12. I think the
There's
body
more
count
than
is
12.
21, I heard somewhere.
But I mean, you don't know how many people were in that SWAT armoured car, for example.
And in the helicopter as well.
Helicopter as well.
Yeah. I don't know. They probably had way more time in their hands than we do. And calculated it scientifically. But yeah. So, Will, what do you think of Die Hard?
You always ask me this.
You're a long way away from the microphone.
It's always Die Hard as well.
Yeah, every time we open the podcast and I say, well, what do you think of Die Hard?
Die Hard. And they always say, we're not doing Die Hard.
Well, it's time we did.
We came up with some stuff.
We did. Well, what do you think of the movie in general? Should we start with that?
I think it's very close to the top space on the leaderboards, which we do at the end.
We're masters. Do you think it's one of the best action movies of all time?
Yes, I think so.
What would rival it?
Predator.
Predator?
Yeah.
Same director. There's a bit of trivia for you. In fact, he came off Predator with its super macho, manly man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, in the lead.
Yeah.
And he decided he got the script for Die Hard, which was similar, and he didn't want to do that anymore. So he made him an average Joe of a cop who didn't really want to be there.
That he clearly does, because he has many opportunities to get out and doesn't take any of them.
I think he was trapped in there. I thought that was the deal. Plus, he had to save his wife.
Yeah, but I agree. I'm not like saying what he did was like a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't buy the whole angry, grumpy old man routine. No, grumpy old Bruce Willis telling the terrorists to get off of his lawn.
But I mean, he didn't go there like expecting that. He was stuck in that situation and he made the best of it.
Yeah, okay.
And by made the best of it, we mean he killed 12 people. Wait, how many terrorists did he kill?
I mean, technically, gravity killed Hans Gruber.
And Al kills Carl at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's down to 10. He does kill a lot, though. Did the SWAT guys get any of them?
No, I don't think so.
No, because that guy eating a Mars bar kills them all.
Oh, yeah. And also the guy with the rocket launcher who shoots the armored car, but we'll go with the Mars guy.
Oh, and Argyle punches Glass's computer face.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that would kill you.
No, I don't think he's dead. I think he's just in a van.
Yeah.
And Argyle just drives off.
Drives off, yeah. Leaving a terrorist underneath the Nakatomi building.
Yep. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go from the beginning?
Yeah, we normally do. We normally just talk through the film at least for like 5 minutes and then immediately get sidetracked.
Immediately?
Yeah.
Well, do you want me to tell you things that happened before the film about the production?
Tell me about the production.
Alright, so apparently the screenwriter was struggling to write a screen, which is literally his job.
That's his job.
And he couldn't find a good motivation for the character of Bruce Willis.
Mm.
And
The character of Bruce Willis.
Yes. So he had the guy in his structured building. He couldn't think of a good motivation for the guy. The story goes, he was driving down the road and he just had a fight with his wife.
Mm.
And in my notes I've written he was almost killed by a fridge. so he was driving down the road behind a
fridge.
Yeah, the man in front of him was driving a fridge.
Indiana Jones in his fridge was flying over the road.
He's driving along behind a lorry, and for some reason I don't fully understand this, but apparently a fridge fell out of or like a box with the fridge in it fell out the back of a lorry. This implies that the lorry was open at the back for some reason, or maybe it was like a pickup and it had a box with a fridge in it on it.
Yeah.
But the box fell off and hit the front of his car, and luckily there was no fridge in the box. So this guy was just transporting an empty
It's
box.
a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Why did fridges even come into this? I mean, when I see a cardboard box, I don't immediately think, yeah, there's a fridge in there. I don't assume that all cardboard boxes have fridges in them.
I assume it had a picture of a fridge on it. So he...
How does he know it wasn't a freezer?
That's a really good question.
It must have happened fast enough that he probably couldn't tell.
There's so many holes in this story.
Yeah, this doesn't add up. I'm not buying it.
But anyway, afterwards he was like, I could have been killed by that box with probably a fridge in it, and I would never have got to apologise to my wife for that stupid argument we had.
So I got rid of the character of Hans Gruber and replaced him with a fridge.
Yes, so then he had the idea of McLean and his wife having this argument at the beginning, and the wife is the main reason that he's doing all this.
It's the entire reason he's in the building. In the
Yes, exactly. And it was all thanks to a box that didn't have a fridge in it. I had some other production stuff. Oh yeah, the director turned down the script a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Because he thought it was too dark. I think in the original script, they were all just terrorists.
Yeah, because so he said he wanted it to be like jolly summer entertainment with an 18 rating.
Yeah.
So he got rid of the terroristness and just said, oh,
they're thieves pretending to be terrorists.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Would you prefer it if they were terrorists?
Well, there's a bit at the beginning where he's talking to Nakatomi.
Yeah.
And Nakatomi basically doesn't believe that all he wants is the money. Remember, he's like,
yeah.
He's like, he's after the money, and Nakatomi's like, no, wait, no, not. You want to go to this elaborate scheme just for the money. Yeah. Which I kind of agree with. I don't remember how much money he says there is there.
640 million in bearer bonds.
Hmm.
Divided by 12, though.
But there are probably other nefarious criminal means to get a similar amount, possibly with a smaller group, and end up with more individually.
True. I don't know why he needed so
hassle.
many. Most of it was mainly muscle, I assume.
And I mean, most of them get killed and doesn't seem to drastically hamper his operation as well.
The important terrorists were
He needs the guy who breaks into the safe.
the computer terrorist.
Yeah.
And he needs Carl. Do you think Carl just brought his brother? Just because he was like... it's Christmas Eve, you should be with your family.
Well, yeah, who else is not muscle? There's the guy who hacks the safe.
Receptionist terrorist doesn't really do anything muscular, but he doesn't do anything else.
Doesn't do anything particularly special.
No, they're all just there
They're all just there to shoot stuff.
and hold on to the hostages.
Yeah.
So they don't rebel. Another thing you just mentioned, this came out in the summer.
Yeah.
Do you think that's weird?
I mean,
Now that it's like...
It is very strange to release a Christmas movie in summer.
It's so Christmassy.
John McCain even whistles a Christmassy tune.
He certainly does. He writes ho 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 on that man's
He
back.
does. He kills a man and then writes ho on him. How Christmassy.
Yep.
He's wearing like a little red hat and everything.
He is. It's clearly
He's
Christmas.
a jolly old corpse.
So, should we go through chronologically then?
Yes.
As we always, often, sometimes do. So, he's on a plane at the beginning.
He is.
The man says, make
Man
fists
tells
with
him
your
to make
toes.
fists with his toes.
Yep. Advice that he, for some reason, takes.
Which is actually a very important plot point.
It is!
him, that random guy telling him to make fists with his toes turns out to be hugely important.
It's also really odd that they presumably sat on a flight for about 3 hours, and he only starts that conversation just as they're getting off. He's like, oh, you don't like flying? We've just landed, but you don't like flying, I see.
Because that whole conversation is the reason why he gets all the glass in his...
Why he's barefoot for the whole movie, yeah.
And he ends up getting glass all over his feet.
One thing about Die Hard, I think it's a clever movie.
Yeah.
I like that the main character is put at a disadvantage immediately, just because he happens not to have his shoes on.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a superhero, like super cop who has no flaws, but it's also the other trope is that he's a super cop, but he's an alcoholic.
He's a super cop.
He's a super cop and an alcoholic. Or he's just too angry all the time. He's too manly, Will. That's his flaw. No, it's just that he doesn't have his shoes on. And that puts him at a major disadvantage.
Also, Hans Gruber is clearly quite a smart
Yes.
guy, and he
And he gets one over on Bruce Willis on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
No, I do like how intelligent he is and how like much preparation has gone into it. And what a methodical man he is.
He plays the like FBI and the police to his favour and things like that.
He does, yeah. He's just out to get something and he's very good at what he does. At it, yeah. Because often
unlike Lex Luthor, who claims to be the best criminal in the world.
Yeah.
It's just rubbish. I bet Bruce Willis could have stopped Lex Luthor more effectively as the Superman, to be honest.
Probably. He would have crawled through the vents and got into his underground. Half of this film is
Bruce Willis either climbing up an elevator shaft or falling through vents.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to chronology, he gets in his limo. He meets Argyle.
Who does very little.
He does. I kind of remembered him having a larger role.
So did I, actually. It's strange that you mentioned that, because I'm sure I remembered him actually, like, contributing.
Yeah.
But no, it takes him, like, several hours to figure out the building he is literally parked under as being attacked by terrorists.
Yeah.
And then when he figures that out, he drives around for like 5 minutes looking for an exit.
Yep.
Can't find one, and then goes, oh well, guess I'll give up.
He flicks the radio onto like the terrorist channel, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he doesn't do anything.
He sits there.
Because he has a car phone. He could have called the cops.
He could have called anyone. I don't know, the cops might have... Because he finds out about it.
Oh, on the news, doesn't he?
Yeah, so the cops have already been called by that point.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, better tuck in.
Because I can't do anything about this.
Yeah, I'll just sit down here in my car with this large bear. It's weird that he had the bear in the car. Because the plan was that Bruce Willis would go and see his wife, and if it went well, Argyle would just leave.
No, if it went well, he said if it went well, he'd bring his stuff in.
Oh, okay.
Which I assume includes the bear.
Includes the bear, yeah. Okay,
I would have liked to have seen him bring the bear in and somehow use it as a weapon against the terrorists.
I just wanted to see him walk in not knowing that it's full of terrorists and all the terrorists be spooked by a massive bear. Like, just after they've dealt with the SWAT. Like, the elevator comes up and opens and there's just a bear. And they're like, a bear! We surrender!
I think Bruce Willis has put a bomb inside it or something. It's just a bear.
He just says ho 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 on it. Yeah. Now I have a bear. Yeah, so Argyle has like 3 scenes. And then Bruce Willis goes in, he meets his wife. He meets other important characters. Like...
Nakatomi.
That's the name of the tower. It's the name of the guy.
Isn't his name also Nakatomi?
No, it's Takagi? Mr. Takagi, isn't it?
So he meets Mr. Takagi.
And he meets cokehead businessman.
Oh, that guy.
Whose name I don't remember. Who halfway through the movie is like, hey, I negotiate deals for breakfast. I'll do a deal.
Yeah. So he meets Takagi, he meets the coke guy.
Yeah, he meets his wife. And they hit it off for a bit.
Actually, there's someone else he meets.
I mean, some guy comes up to him and says Merry Christmas and kisses him.
The most important character.
I think we never see him again. Yeah, I think then terrorism.
Yeah.
Because we get all of that about Bruce Willis. And then we get a good 20 minutes that are just the terrorists doing their thing.
Right.
Because the terrorists come in, they all like walk out looking all cool. And they come up and then they round up everyone. And then there's the whole scene with Takagi and he gets killed. Mm-hmm. And we basically don't see Bruce Willis for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
That's just good pacing though.
I like getting to know the villain though.
Well, the guy who wrote the script said that apparently he basically treated Hans Gruber as the main character.
Oh, really?
That was his whole attitude, yeah.
Oh, okay. Not that fridge then.
On the fridge. No.
It makes sense though, because he gets a lot of attention in a way that villains generally don't in movies.
Even though villains, I think, are more... villains are easier to make interesting than heroes.
Yeah, I agree. Because there must be something that's pushed them to the point of villainy. Mm. It's a shame there aren't more good villains. I can't think of any good villains of, like, recent years.
Of recent years? I think, to be honest, in recent years there's been a general lack of good character and story-driven films.
Yeah?
I'm not saying there aren't any.
But there's not many.
There's not that many.
But then I suppose, back in the 80s, we remember the good ones. We don't remember the rubbish stuff, do we?
That's
so
true.
I'm sure there were stacks of terrible movies. If you'd like to recommend any of them to us, we'd love to watch them. Running Man was 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fondly remembered. Oh, I can't remember the year on that one. But just think of the recent Marvel movies and the villains in them.
I can remember the villains from basically none of the Marvel films, to be honest.
Really?
Only Loki.
Loki, but because he's been in a few movies, you get some development on him.
Yeah.
What's one of the most recent Marvel movies? The Vulture was pretty good.
There's certainly nothing innovative.
You got quite a bit of backstory in Spiderman: Homecoming. That was quite good. And then
I suppose so, actually, because that was kind of good, because it started off as it was kind of like he was just a regular working Joe wanting to make some money, and then the government comes along and
screws him over.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's more complex than take over the world. And then you've got Guardians 2, where it was Peter Quill's dad. He just wanted to take over the universe. And you've got Doctor Strange, where the villain was a giant purple face.
Yeah.
Who just wanted to take over the world.
Half an hour of I've come to bargain.
Yes. He certainly had come to bargain.
He certainly had.
Yeah,
I only remember the villain's name because of that. Because they said it so many times.
Yeah. But anyway. Chronology.
Well,
where were we? Gruber had just come in.
Gruber had just killed Takano.
He has.
Yeah.
The fact that it's Christmas doesn't really come into play, apart from that there's an office Christmas party.
Well, the party was also more to celebrate the building opening, wasn't it? It wasn't just a Christmas thing.
Even that wasn't finished after it was still under construction. But it's not like there were less police around because it was Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah. Mm.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it's a Christmas.
It just means that he can put the Christmas hat on that guy.
Bruce Willis just demanded it.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happens after that? Brucey
gets killed.
Brucey kills the first guy.
Gets shot in the face. Takano.
Oh no! Bruce Willis pulls the fire alarm.
Wait, what? We're jumping ahead a bit here.
He pulls the fire alarm just after Takagi gets killed, isn't
I haven't done Takagi getting killed.
All right. Is there much to say about that scene?
Do you think that Takagi was trying to be like a hero? What do you think about him?
Well, he seems like a good guy that he gives himself up when they're like, we're looking for Takagi.
Yeah.
And
they could have done an Iron Spartacus.
That would have been great. But he's keen to protect the company's interests, but also he's like, what is it he says? Something like, oh, if you get in the computer, they'll have changed it all by the morning anyway. Yeah. So,
because the reason, as far as Takagi is concerned, Takagi seems pretty convinced he won't be able to get into the safe.
Yeah.
With good reason, because
there's 7 locks.
8 locks, including including
that one. Yes. So he thought that they were bluffing, essentially, because they needed him alive.
Yeah.
And then they weren't. And then they killed him. You get in action movies again, you get a lot of posturing from your villain. I like a villain who just comes in and kills someone straight out.
Yeah. Especially because, he prevents, a very, businessman-like front.
Yes.
It's he's very charming and things, and then just okay, well, I can...
He doesn't do it just because he's evil and maniacal. It's just, it's
what he needs to do to get what he wants.
Exactly, yeah. And to show that he means business to anyone who might be hiding under a table in the other room. And then Bruce Willis pulls the fire alarm. And then no one comes.
That's always struck me as a bit odd, because he pulls the fire alarm.
Yep.
The fire alarm, the fire people start coming in their first.
The fire people. It's like an army of people who are on fire.
The fire people.
You've awoken the fire people.
Then Hans Gruber gets one of his goons to call.
They heard. The fire people have come.
Hans Gruber gets one of his goons to phone 911.
Yeah.
And summon the fire brigade. And then cancel the alarm. No,
he meant that. So if you pull it, it would automatically call the fire brigade.
Yeah.
So he's calling to say it's a false alarm. Some cokehead at our party has pulled it.
Ah, okay, I see.
You can drive toward the building a bit, but then when Bruce Willis is watching, turn your sirens off and turn around. Yeah. So yes, Receptionist Terrorist does that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what any of them are. Apart from Hans and Carl. And Carl's brother.
Identify them by their task.
But yes. Then
He goes to the roof, doesn't he?
No, they send up Carl's brother to investigate.
Oh yeah.
And Bruce Willis kills him.
He was 1 day away from retirement.
Terrorist retirement.
Then he goes to the roof, doesn't he, after that?
He does.
After he kills Carl's brother.
And he gets the radio.
He gets the radio off Carl's brother.
And he radios the police.
And they don't believe him.
And they're like, "Sir, this is an emergency channel. Your terrorist incident doesn't count. Please stop your loud noises and gunfire." Which is very odd. Why wouldn't they take him seriously?
Well, it was the same address as the false fire alarm came from.
True.
They pointed that out. But in the end, yeah, it's pretty stupid of them not to take him seriously.
Yeah. But they do send a policeman, Will.
They send the best damn cop on the force.
Yep. Detective Al, surname.
Al, morbidly obese.
Al, Twinkie lover. Yep, and Detective Twinkie Muncher goes to the Nakatomi Tower, and he has
drives around a bit.
He drives around the traffic circle.
He drives around in a circle.
Hops out.
Goes inside. Fails to notice the terrorists take over the building. After going to reception, walking about 10 feet down the ground
one corridor.
Decides, no, this building is perfectly safe.
Yep.
And after he goes to the roof, Hans Gruber is like, "Well, it would be the best place to send a radio message. Oh, yes, it would be on the roof."
Wait, does he go up to the roof and make the radio call before he sends Carl's brother down in the lift with the hat on?
No. Remember, he sends Carl's brother down.
Yep.
Then he sees them through the lift poking at Carl's brother's dead body.
Yep, and he writes down some names and some numbers.
Yeah. Then he goes back up to the roof and tells them that he saw, like, however many he saw.
Oh, yes. Many. Yes, you're right, yeah. That's another thing I like. I like him sneaking around.
Yeah.
Not everything he does is, like, dual-wielding machine guns, shooting and shouting and... I'm just thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger again.
Yeah.
If it was him, he would have hidden behind the body. And then they would have come to investigate. And you would have gone... he'd have had a Christmas pun ready.
Yeah, he would.
He'd be like, "Merry Christmas!" With machine guns. And then he would have opened fire with everything he had.
Merry Christmas with machine guns.
Or he would have just gone, "Now I have a machine gun.
I have a present for you."
That's the best one yet. Oh dear, yes. But I like him sneaking around. I like that he realises that he's outnumbered, and basically Bruce Willis tries to avoid as many fights as he can in this movie.
Mm.
He knows he's outmatched by 12 terrorists.
Yeah.
They were originally looking to cast a Schwarzenegger or a Stallone. And
apparently Harrison Ford was up for consideration.
Yeah.
But they offered it to him and he turned it down.
Following on from our tradition of Harrison Ford almost being in every movie we've discussed.
Yes!
I think Harrison Ford would have been alright.
Yeah.
He did a pretty good job. He's a bit too handsome though.
When Bruce Willis heals
he'll be furious. Yeah. Bruce Willis has a more rugged
baldness.
Look. A baldness? He's more rugged. He looks like a man who's seen some things. Anyway, enough of me insulting people in this movie. You did call poor Al fat, so...
He is!
So yeah, do you like him crawling around the vents and lift shafts and doing quips to himself?
He does talk to himself quite a lot, doesn't he?
Come down to the party, we'll have a few laughs, it'll be great. There should have been a time when someone heard him talking in the vents.
Apparently, like, one of the reasons for that is basically they started filming it before they fully fleshed out everyone's character.
Really?
And, like, they didn't quite know... And, like, even the plot. They hadn't fully fleshed out the plot.
Yeah?
It's a bit of a mess, to be honest.
That's Will there with our segment's Troubled Productions.
So, like, one of the things is the... You know, at the end, the truck that the terrorists arrive in, they drive the ambulance out. It's like their...
Yeah, their escape vehicle.
The truck that they arrive in wasn't big enough to fit that ambulance in because they hadn't figured that
they haven't worked that out.
The plot yet. Yeah.
I was going to say another thing. Oh yeah, apparently Bruce Willis was working on some TV show in the daytime and then doing Die Hard at night. He was knackered most of the time. So they kind of beefed up the roles of the supporting characters, like your Als and your all the police antics and like the terrorist stuff. They beefed it up a bit because Bruce Willis was just too tired to carry the entire film. But again, that's another strength of Die Hard. You see all the characters and you get to know a bit about all of them.
Agent Johnson and Special Agent Johnson.
Yeah. Not them. You don't know much about them.
I said one of them was in Vietnam, that's all you know.
And one of them was in high school.
Yeah.
And they're both jerks.
Yeah.
And then they're both killed. Join the FBI! But I like in this that everyone seems to have their own motivations and their own way of dealing with the situation.
Mm.
So you've got, like, the police who, like, there's the bit where the police, like, storm in because they think, oh, we can deal with this in a minute. And then the FBI where they're really cocky as well and they think they know exactly what they're doing. But then even the terrorists, you've got, like, Gruber, Hans is saying, just trap John McClane, stop him, and then we can proceed with our plan. But Carl is like, no, I must do a murder.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that you've got this situation and everyone's dealing with it in a human way. I don't look at anyone and think, even Bruce Willis, I don't look at any of them and think that's not a thing a person could do. I mean, some of the stunts are a bit out there, but like the motivations of the character and the way they process the situation before them, it all seems logical for their characters.
Mm. Yeah, I agree.
It's well written. I think that's what it boils down to. So, where were we?
No, let's see. He just summoned the police, and yeah, they said Al. He drove around.
Yep.
And completely failed.
Failed at building investigation.
And has his body dropped on him.
Then Bruce Willis throws a terrorist at him.
Yeah. And then he decides his response to that is going to be just to reverse in a straight line and just keep going until he hits something.
Which he eventually does. And then he gets out of his car, leaving his Twinkies behind, and calls for backup. Yeah. But do you like their radio dialogue and their relationship, I suppose?
Oh my. I guess he's like the moral support for Bruce Willis.
He is. He's essentially Bruce Willis's sidekick.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do any kicking.
Because Bruce Willis, I think there's a couple of bits where Bruce Willis is feeling a bit like, I'm not gonna make it.
Yep.
And then Alan's like, oh, you listen to me.
You have to meet my unborn child, damn it.
Yeah. I still think it's when at the end they instantly recognise each other, even though
they've never seen each other. It is a bit odd.
But I think that's one interesting thing is they grow a strong connection even though they haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
It's just over the radio.
And for some of it, Al doesn't even know his real name.
Mm.
But I like it. Because, again, that's the kind of thing that your action hero cliche character doesn't have. He doesn't need a moral support because he has all the muscles and several guns and a rocket launcher.
The terrorist had a missile launcher.
Yeah, and did it help them?
Yes,
it did. Well, Bruce Willis had a chair and he stuck all his C4 on it.
Yeah, he did. What did that dropping the C4 down the elevator do? It didn't kill any of the terrorists, did it?
So that was during the missile launcher scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When the police were all like, well, we'll just clear this up, even though there's lots of hostages. We should just storm in with our 4 SWAT men and a car.
But what did dropping the C4 down the elevator do?
I don't think it was for a reason. I think it's just because he was...
It just felt like...
I think it's just because he was real mad.
He just wanted to blow up the building.
I think it's just because he was furious. And he was like, this! He had to retaliate somehow. Because Hans, they'd shot the car, and Hans was like, shoot it again, Jimmy. Yeah. Play it again, Sam.
Yeah.
And then Bruce was like, no, please. The civilians.
In the SWAT car.
Yes. There could be children in there. It's bring your kid to work day. And then they shoot it again, and he's just real mad about it. Because all of the policemen are on fire. The fire people have arrived.
Fire people again. Everywhere in this
They cannot be stopped. What is the best action scene in this movie?
I quite like the fight where... It's the fight where Hans Gruber goes up and confronts him with that other guy.
Oh, where they shoot the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, that's my favourite one.
But a lot of the fights in this are either Bruce Willis hides behind something and then shoots someone, or Bruce Willis runs away from people who are shooting at him.
Yeah. I do like that the terrorist is supposedly German.
Yeah.
And Hans Gruber tells the guy to shoot the glass in German. And he doesn't understand, so he says it again in English.
Yeah.
To clarify.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Apparently most of the German terrorists weren't German.
Yeah.
But Bruce Willis is half German, apparently.
Oh.
His mother is German.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact. So, yeah, they do explosions, they shoot things. There's a big subplot about detonators. Why was that guy wandering around with a bag of detonators?
You mean Bruce Willis?
No, the whoever he took it off of.
Well, he needs the detonator to set off his explosives.
Yeah, but why weren't they in, like, Alan Rickman's office somewhere? Why was he walking around with them? Unless he was taking them to where they needed to go. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Probably that. He wasn't just taking his detonators for a walk.
It's always better to walk yourself through the problem and figure it out yourself.
I just imagine...
I don't like to give the answers to problems. I help you figure it out.
I just like to imagine that Hans was like, you nameless terrorist, go and patrol the stairways. And he was like, can I take the detonators with me? You know, for company. And Alan was like, yes.
Wow.
And then he did.
He did, yeah.
Well, what else happens in this movie? Well, have you got anything cool and interesting to say?
The FBI shows up.
They do. My favourite scene happens.
What's that?
My favourite scene is when the FBI cut the power and all the terrorists get into the vault. It's really weird that my favourite scene is the villains getting what they wanted.
Yeah.
But I just love the music and that they, like, all this hard work has paid off for them, and then all the police are outside really cocky and they're like, I bet they're wetting themselves in there.
Yeah.
And really they're just thrilled. You got a favourite scene? Excuse me.
Well, as I told you, it is not officially Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off the Nakatomi Tower.
Yeah. So your favourite scene is a man's death.
Yep. Apparently during that scene, it was Alan Rickman that was doing it, not a stunt double.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of obvious with a close-up of his face.
Yes.
But apparently they dropped him like a few seconds before he was supposed to.
Yeah, I heard that. They had him it was over 20 feet in the air.
And they just dropped him.
And the stunt guy was like, I'll count to 3.
Yeah. 1,
2, and dropped him. Yeah. To get that reaction. Because Rickman wasn't keen to do it. I think he said he'd only do it once. So they had to get it right on that go. I like the idea of the stuntman going, I am going to count to 3.
Yeah.
There will not be a 3.
I've written that in my notes, by the way, as Rickman drops a prize.
We really should put our notes on Twitter because they're very slapdash. What else have I got? Oh, in the scene where Bruce Willis was running across the grass. They've got grass in my face. When running across the glass barefoot.
Yeah.
Apparently they made him some rubber shoes that look just like his feet.
Wow.
And in some shots you can tell because he has massive feet.
I have another thing that's labelled another person drops a prize.
Who else is surprised at a drop?
Bruce Willis stuntman drops a prize.
Tell me more.
The scene where Bruce Willis a stunt double, as I just said. You know, he falls down the elevator shaft.
Oh yes.
And he grabs onto
the vent.
Yeah. Apparently his stunt, that wasn't supposed to happen. And his stuntman just messed up and fell down.
Oh, because he jumps and misses the vent and catches the next one, doesn't he? So that was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Good job, stuntmen. That's the same thing happened in Blade Runner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where that guy fell off the edge of the building. He was probably the same guy. He's just the worst stuntman. He's also the guy who missed the building in Superman.
Yeah.
Is there anything you think is over the top unrealistic? any of the stunts in this.
The
one that springs to mind is when he ties the fire hose around his waist and jumps off the top of the building.
Yeah.
You'd fall out of that immediately, wouldn't you? Fire hose isn't that strong.
And also not that... I'm not sure how strong a knot you could tie with a fire hose. I mean,
it's
very thick and not very...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Not, I can't think of the word is. Flexible.
Yeah.
Knottable.
Big letters.
Yeah. Anything else? Most of this seems on a believable level.
Yeah.
And I like that they're not trying to stop someone taking over the world or destroying the moon. He just wants to stop a bank robbery and protect his wife.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's not a bank robbery.
It's not.
What does Nakatomi Company do?
They make Nakatomis.
Oh.
They make Barabons. I have no idea. Probably something, like in the IT crowd, it's just something vague to do with computers.
No, the thing is, in the IT crowd, it's not even necessarily to do with computers. I mean, their IT department is 2 guys and a manager.
That's a good point. No, there is a line. I think it's something about stereos, or they make technology or stereos or something. But it's not a factory, is it?
Oh! We even mentioned it as Alan Rickman's model building obsession.
Yep.
They build bridges and things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. Massive stereos. That's what I said.
Yes.
Unless Takagi just collects models. Him and Alan Rickman.
Well, no, because he mentions, contrary to what you may read, we will not devastate this place when we build the bridge. It will be improved. And then Hans Gruber goes, yes, I read the article in Forbes.
He does a lot of reading.
He does. He reads Forbes. I think he mentions Forbes again.
It's a Time magazine when he's
magazine,
making his demands.
Oh, yeah. He mentioned some terrorist group.
I read about them in the Time magazine. Mr. Potter.
Down to page 394.
In the Time magazine.
Mr. Potter.
You know the scene where Bruce Willis, I think it's when he's throwing the body out onto Al's car.
Yeah.
He grabs a chair and smashes the window in one smash.
I mean, the glass on those... That was another thing that I thought you were going to mention with the fire hose scene.
Yeah.
Is kicking through the glass.
Yeah.
Like, the windows...
Well,
he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, that glass is it's not even really glass, really. It's more plasticky than that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really strong.
As we learned, because Bruce Willis smacks it with a chair. I saw this in the behind-the-scenes footage, and it's just nothing happens.
Yeah.
So he goes for it again, a proper good swing. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Third time, real big one, broken chair.
Yeah.
He destroys the chair before the glass, which is great. And then, should we get toward the ending? I think we're closing in.
We're closing in on the end, yeah.
Well, he takes everyone... There's lots of explosions on the building. Lots of things blow up.
The roof blows up.
It does. He nearly kills all the hostages.
The scene with the helicopter exploding at the end.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they didn't actually blow up the roof of the building.
What?
They are on.
This is not
we haven't mentioned that either.
Yeah.
The building that it was all filmed in.
Oh no, we haven't. No, it was. It wasn't filmed in the Nakatomi Tower. Mr. Takagi was having none of it.
Takagi isn't a real man.
He read the script, and when he realised he was killed in the first 15 minutes, he was not a happy man. No, they filmed it in the 20th Century Fox buildings, headquarters that they were halfway through building.
Yeah. And they had to pay themselves to rent it.
Yeah, which is very odd.
The film is made by Fox.
Yeah.
And they filmed it in the Fox building.
Yep.
And Fox paid Fox to rent Fox's building.
Yeah. Yeah. And because it was unfinished, all the construction stuff was just halfway through the building.
Yeah.
But in the bit where Bruce Willis blows up the third floor with his chair bomb, they couldn't work out a good way to do it, and there was this obscure technique that the special effects guys were working on. Meanwhile, some of the Fox executives were just like, how much would it cost just to blow up the third floor? How much would it cost just to blow out all the windows? Can we just do that, maybe? But in the end, they didn't. They went with this other technique.
What technique?
Basically, it's just like an overlaying technique. So they shot the building, did some bright flashes of light, I think, and then basically overlaid explosions onto that. which they did on a miniature.
That doesn't sound like a novel thing.
The only thing that I could see that was different about it was that they exploded on a miniature and then overlaid the miniature onto the actual building. So, like, it perfectly mirrored up. But I wouldn't say it's that novel or amazing.
But anyway, yes. What I was originally going to say...
Yes.
That they didn't actually blow up the roof of the Fox building.
Yep.
They apparently built just, like, a miniature replica of it.
Yeah.
Like, the top, 8 floors or whatever. And they had, a little remote control helicopter that they used.
Oh, really?
The explosion scene, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Not a remote control Superman.
No.
Which is disappointing.
He should have flown in and saved the remote control helicopter. It's what he's good at.
Apparently, the guy who flies that remote control helicopter.
Yeah.
He was trying to impress them with his flying skills, and then he crashed.
Well done, sir. Alright, and then what happens at the end? Argyle crashes into that man.
Oh, yeah.
Punches him in the face.
Argyle actually does his one thing in the entire film. What's the purpose of his character? He drives Bruce Willis to the hotel, to the building. He could have quite easily just been a nameless limo driver.
Yeah.
Dropped Bruce Willis off, and then left. And the film would be no different.
Yeah. I suppose the ambulance could have driven out and been picked off by Al or something, couldn't it? Yeah. Or literally any of the other policemen.
Outside,
yeah. I don't really know. I suppose it shows us that the phones are cut off in the phone call that gets cut off between them, but...
But, I mean, that's already... They're already saying, cut off the phones.
Yeah.
And then cutting off a bunch of them.
But yeah, there's also the scene... there's a lot of scenes with the TV reporter. And I don't really see what they were for either. There's this guy at a news corporation and he's desperate to get a van so he can go out.
I think that, you know what, that might have to do with the fact that they hadn't fully fleshed out the script when they started filming it. Because it even mentioned that same article. Although it didn't give any example, it said, this is why some scenes seem out of place.
Yeah.
Though it didn't give any examples, but maybe that's what they were talking about.
The only real purpose of the news is that McClane's daughter is on the news, and then that tips off Alan Rickman as to who his wife is, that John McClane's wife is. But yeah, they don't really do much. And I agree, Argyle doesn't do much. I like him. I wish he'd done more, to be honest. Yeah. But he doesn't do much. Unless he's supposed to be an opposite of Bruce Willis. Someone who's trapped in this situation, but just does nothing. Yeah. He just sits there in his car listening to his tunes with a massive bear.
Yeah. But yes, he...
The true villain of this story. Laziness.
Yeah. So he crashes into that ambulance.
He does.
Bruce Willis hangs someone and fails.
He tries to hang a man,
hang someone.
Carl has a little nap. That's a good fight. Bruce Willis and Carl. That's a good action scene. And then Hans Gruber falls out of the window. Yeah.
I like that the final confrontation isn't massively overblown and...
No.
It's not so they don't have some massive karate fight for 5 minutes or whatever.
Bruce Willis doesn't put Hans Gruber into a little bobsled and fire him down the track.
No, he doesn't. He just drops him out of a building.
Yeah.
So that's that.
He doesn't pull off a bomb that is a hand and pop it in his car. He doesn't turn into a massive cloud and I don't know how that movie ended. Yeah, it's just he goes in and essentially fakes a surrender.
Yeah.
Which is not what an Arnold Schwarzenegger would do or a Stallone would do. Which is great, I like it. And then he has the gun taped to the back of his head.
I don't think you've studied much human anatomy, have you, Joe? The area directly below the neck.
That's the second head.
Not the head.
Just because he's balls, I just imagined it was...
It's all his head.
Yeah. It's hard to distinguish. And then he has a romantic reunion with Al.
With Al, yeah.
And his wife. And Argyle.
And Argyle.
Oh, and Al shoots that guy.
Al kills a man.
We have some things to say.
We have something to say about this.
So basically, Al's character development is that at the beginning, he shot a kid.
Yeah.
And he can't get back out in the field again, as it were. He can't go, be a proper cop. And at the end, he overcomes this tragedy by murdering a man.
A terrorist.
He shoots him 5 times.
He does.
So, what kind of character development is this?
Well, I think that it would be much better if we talked about this.
We did.
We decided it would be much improved if he's gone all this time without killing someone, and then he shoots the terrorist, and he rediscovers the thrill of taking another man's life, and proceeds to murder everyone around him. He shoots McCain and his wife.
Because, he
shoots Argyle.
He kills Carl,
He goes on a murderous rampage, delighting in the blood.
It's because he kills Carl, and then like a second later, Argyle comes and smashes through the parking garage, and he turns
to shoot him as well.
And McKay's like, no, he's a friend.
He's eager for more killing at that point.
Yes. It would have been great if he just like shot Argyle, because he's only got 1 bullet left in that revolver, straight through the eyes, and McCain is just like, dude, that was my driver. And then he just snaps McCain's neck. Just takes his wife and jumps in a police car, runs over all the cars, just drives up into the sunset. And Die Hard 2.
The sunrise, I guess.
Yeah, it's Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And he's just like, Merry Christmas. Die Hard 2 is just him, like, people trying to stop him as he just takes over the world.
Murders everyone he finds.
You could have, like, the FBI, and just everyone is called Agent Johnson. They all come after him. Alright, I'm going to skim my nonsense and see if there's anything else that I have to say that is interesting. Apparently, yippee-ki-yay means, here, eat this, in Urdu.
Good. I found the scene where Hans Gruber and McCain meet. Again, wasn't in the original script.
Yeah.
But apparently when they discovered that Alan Rickman could impersonate an American accent, then they decided to
slotted it in. Yeah. I know they were looking for a way to like have the two of them meet.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alan Rickman's accent to the rescue. But it's a good scene. It's amazing how much of this movie is just 2 people talking to each other.
Yeah. And especially just over radios and things.
Yeah, and how good that can be. Because a lot of it is just McClane talking to Al, and Hans talking to McClane, and Cokehead talking to... We didn't talk about his scene,
did we? His arc. His character arc.
Well, he gets his comeuppance because he does drugs and dies.
Yeah.
So...
When does he do drugs?
When they're walking into... McCain and his wife...
Yeah.
He said McClane and his wife walking to her office, and he's just there with like his face down on the desk, having a good old snort. So he's very on coke.
Then he dies.
And then he tries to broker a deal.
When he's on the radio, that guy brings him a glass of Coca-Cola.
Yes! Oh yeah! He truly is a cokehead. Yes. Coke. It's not good, kids. Don't do it, otherwise a terrorist will kill you.
Yeah, Hans Gruber will come and kill you.
Yeah.
Mr. Potter, I saw you were taking that cocaine.
Put it back in my cupboard immediately. So, special effects wise, the director kept talking about exaggerated reality, which...
Does he mean a film?
Well, he was like, it's... You know how the gunshots are really loud, the muzzle flashes are really big, the bullet holes are really visceral and explodey. I think it's that, is what he was banging on about. But to get those massive muzzle flashes, they had to kind of invent a new kind of blank, and apparently it was deafening. And whenever Hans Gruber fired his gun, they had to cut away from him, because Alan Rickman just flinched. Oh, I got some... Oh, yes. We did this a while ago for Moonraker. I got some alternate titles from other countries.
Oh, I saw some of these as well. Some of them are really weird.
So,
one of them's like, okay, I'll let you do it.
I'll give you the ones. Tell me if you heard them. In Spain, it's called Crystal Jungle.
Yeah, I heard that one. I don't understand why. Is it because there's lots of glass in
made of glass? Yeah. Glass is crystal, isn't it, Will? Poland, it's called the Glass Trap.
Yeah.
And apparently it works really well in Polish.
These are really different from Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, in Hungary, it's called Give Your Life Expensive.
That's just a more verbose way of saying Die Hard.
But it said that it's hard to do a direct English translation because when you translate Die Hard, it comes across as, where is it? It is hard to kill him.
I mean, that would also be an appropriate title.
I'd watch a movie called It Is Hard to Kill Him.
Better than Give Your Life Expensive. Is it not even Give Your Life Expensively or something? Give Your Life Expensive.
Yep. Yes, there you go. Oh, there's a book as well. We didn't talk about that.
No.
So, usually you and I, or you or I, read the book because we like to go back to the source material. Yeah. This time we didn't. Because this time we didn't read the book.
No.
Because reportedly it's very, very similar to the movie. But there were a few changes. I will tell you them now. It was not McClane's wife. It was his daughter. McClane was older. He was also called...
McClane's older than his daughter.
So, it's not like he has a 13-year-old daughter who's like the director in this company. The daughter is the same age as the wife in the movie.
The daughter's the same age as him.
McClane is like an older cop. Right? He's also called Leland, or Leyland. Leland in the book, which is terrible. There's no FBI, it's just the cops knocking about. The terrorists just straight up are terrorists, as we discussed. The director added in that thief twist. And it takes place...
So what, are they still trying to break into a vault or something? Or?
So they broke in to try and uncover an illegal arms shipment that the company who owned the tower was doing. So that's why they're there. They're not there for vault breaking into, I don't think. The book takes place over 3 days, not a night. Oh, and the biggest change... At the end, Gruber is shot and falls out of a window. But as he goes, he grabs the daughter's watch and pulls her out of the window with him, and they both fall to their deaths.
Oh.
Which, depressing.
Yeah. It's not a Christmas movie feel.
And he shouts, Merry Christmas! as he falls. Apparently Clint Eastwood had the rights to the book for a while, and he was going to star in Die Hard. As a 60-year-old man. I don't think he was 60 in the 80s, but as an old man.
No, he's always been in the 60s.
It's his default setting. Oh, here you go. Last thing. Just a weird thing. But apparently, there's a line that's just as the big cop car comes in, one of the terrorists runs in and says, "They're using the artillery on us." Right? Yeah. But in the reading of this line, the actor ran in and shouted, "They're using the elderly on us."
Is that still in the final?
No, it's not. But that was just... I don't know how you get from artillery to the elderly. But he did, apparently. So there you go.
There you go.
Anything for you to say? Or shall we scoot along?
They don't have visually insert the name of the film anywhere.
They don't.
Looks like it was his day to die hard.
I would have liked it if one of the terrorists had just burst in and gone, "It is hard to kill him!"
He does not give his life expensive.
Truly we are in the Crystal Jungle.
That's a good point. If you're going to shoehorn in the name,
yep.
It wouldn't necessarily work the same in every language.
Oh no, it wouldn't. All those people missing out on the joy of this game. Oh well. Are you ready to do best effect, worst effect?
Best effect, worst effect.
Alright, well.
Yeah.
What's the best effect?
I mean, Takami's head exploding is pretty good, I guess. It's just a head exploding though.
It is. I think that this movie does... relatively simple things really well. Because if you think about it, most of the effects are just explosions, bullets, and that sort of thing. There's like some fire.
Yeah.
But there's no like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
That would have been a twist, wouldn't it? The police are using the artillery and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, there's no like big showpiece of the special effects. It just kind of blends.
I mean, I guess you could have the dropping the explosives down the...
Yeah, you can have that if you want.
Wait, can I just have Alan Rickman falling out the window?
Yes, you can. Yep. I like the bit where Al reverses his police car. That's a bit of an effect, I suppose. I like that big drill that they have.
Oh, yeah?
They do have a big drill. I like the vault. I love a vault in a movie. Because they're always completely over the top, and I'm sure they're nothing like that in real life. Is Die Hard a heist movie?
Kind of.
In a way it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a heist movie. Well, there aren't any good heist movies, Will.
Ocean's 11.
I mean, there aren't any good, like, recently.
Ocean's 11.
That was ages ago.
Ocean's 11.
It was 2011, that wasn't. We should talk about Ocean's 11, damn it. This is episode 11. I wanted this to be Ocean's 11.
But it's Christmas.
But it's Christmas, so we're doing Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yep. Alright, episode 111. We'll bank them up.
You know what the best heist movie is? Ocean's 12.
Ocean's 12 is not the best heist movie.
It's way better than Ocean's 11.
You are muted from this podcast. What I'm going to do...
Ant-Man's kind of a heist movie.
I'm going to get the swearing beep and I'm going to put it over you saying Ocean's 12 is the best heist movie. Yes, Ant-Man is kind of a heist movie.
Thank you.
It is also quite a good heist movie, but not the best heist movie.
Well, I didn't say it was the best heist movie.
Yes, you did. You said Ant-Man is the best heist movie.
You said Ocean's 12 is the best heist movie, which it is.
Okay, let's end this conversation. My best effect is the little artillery car the police have. Because it's blown up immediately and defeated by a slight incline.
It is defeated by a slight incline. Once again.
It's like the third time in a row now. Come on, cars.
Come on, cars. Learn to go up hills and down hills.
I like how it has a really big introduction. It drives from like a mile away. It does. And then it goes up the stairs, gets stuck and explodes.
Shut up. Yeah.
There you go, best effect. That's that. Worst effect.
Oh my goodness gracious me. We decided on the worst effect beforehand, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah, we did, but I don't remember what it was.
Damn, we did.
Can you remember what it was?
No. Well, I was going to say something that I don't think is what it was. Some of the looking down the lift shaft stuff looked a bit ropey.
Right. Because
they made a miniature and did it forced perspective.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell on some of it. What was that thing we said? Because we watched the movie together.
And we said that's...
We pulled out a worst effect.
Yeah.
It's probably the bear. Didn't look real at all.
It's clearly not a real bear.
His wife owned a circus. He brought her a real bear. Or did you say the worst effect was the reversing? Because
he just keeps on going.
Yeah.
In a straight line. Not paying any attention to where he's going. I think it's his first time having a corpse dropped on him. That was to me every day.
Are you taking that one or do you want to go elsewhere?
Yeah, I'll have Argyle. Not Argyle.
Al.
It's just a non-stop reversal.
Yep. Alright, that brings
really
us...
an effect. But yes, it does bring us...
Well, the car crash is an effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
They didn't actually do that well. I hate to break it. Yes, this section.
The best section.
William Wilson.
The only section that matters.
Where are we putting Jennifer Lawrence?
Well, I'm putting Jennifer Lawrence.
One of the Johnsons. No, nay, both of the Johnsons.
Both of the Johnsons die.
Damn it! Oh, I thought I had a surefire winner there.
It would have been really good, you're right. This
Alright.
is Agent Lawrence, and this is Special Agent Lawrence. Unfortunately, a lot of the characters die. I mean, I would be up for Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
But he does die.
Well, we don't see him die. We see him fall from the 30th floor. Maybe.
There's some ambiguity.
He might land on a big mattress. You can't be sure.
I'm pretty sure he dies.
Alright, we can say it's Hans Gruber, but instead of being
In
killed.
the spirit of gradually altering films.
Yes. For the Lawrence section, instead of hitting the ground, what could save you from a 30-story drop?
Not much.
Parachute.
Parachute.
And like as Hans Gruber disappears behind that bush, she pulls the cord and it slows her immediately to a stop.
Not just it's a hang glider, and she like gets away.
Yeah.
Hang glider.
Pulls the parachute, it billows out, turns into a hang glider, and she just flies off into the sunset, grasping like 3 bearer bombs.
Yeah.
That's the best bet so far.
That's pretty good.
Anything can beat that.
I mean, the only other choice really is Argyle. But as we discussed, he's the most useless and terrible character in the whole film.
Yeah.
So, no.
He's not. I don't hate him. I just
No,
wish he
you're
did
right.
more.
He's quite a likable guy.
He is.
But he doesn't
do anything. No. You can have. I'm trying to think of really obscure little characters now. She could be the Mexican maid.
No.
She could be that guy who kisses Bruce Willis at the beginning.
No.
Merry Christmas!
Kissing other people.
She could be. I want to see people like Takagi. I want to see people like Cokehead Ellis.
Who died?
I just remembered his name. His name is Ellis.
Cokehead Ellis?
Yeah.
Is that like what everyone calls him?
Oh, well, I think everyone calls him Ellis.
No, everyone calls him Cokehead Ellis.
Behind his back. Yeah, I think we've got the best one.
Yeah.
She could be the bear.
Not a person.
That never stopped us before. Remember when we put her in the boot in Jurassic Park?
Did we go with that in the end?
I can't remember.
I don't think we did.
What we need... Oh, we should say that we recently got a fan art.
Oh, yeah.
From a fan who has drawn Jennifer Lawrence as the police chief from Spiderman.
Not the police chief.
Not the police chief, the newspaper boss.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm thinking about Die Hard, I'm sorry. Yes, and it's
It's
amazing.
really good. I'll post it on the...
Yes, please
Probably
do.
by the time this goes out, I will have posted it.
I hope so.
So what I mean to say is, I have posted it on the Facebook and the Twitter.
But if this person has a lot of free time, maybe they could draw all the Jennifer Lawrence cameos.
I mean, that would be really good. We can pay you in...
Biscuits.
biscuits.
The official currency of Practically Effective. But anyway, it's fantastic. You should all go look at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should also mention that, I should also mention
Yes.
that Jennifer Lawrence recently broke up with her boyfriend.
She did.
So, this is my moment, Joe.
Your moment to shine, Will. Would you like to announce the email address quickly?
Yes. Please email us.
Oh no, we haven't done leaderboards.
We haven't done leaderboards.
Sorry, I got ahead of
Jumping ahead.
What am I doing?
In my eagerness for Jennifer Lawrence to email us.
Alright, so, leaderboards. You told me before this you hadn't set the
I
leaderboard
haven't
placement.
decided yet.
Alright.
Well, I haven't decided. I still haven't decided really. I'll decide in the next 30 seconds, I suppose.
I think I know where I'm putting it. Weirdly, the movie it compares most to that we've done so far is Alien. Because there's a stack of people stuck in a place and the protagonist has to pick off all the members of the crew one by
It's
one.
like a reverse Alien.
It is.
Bruce Willis as
The alien. I watched Die Hard, but the alien is stuck in the tower with them.
Yes.
But the alien is like a burnt-out cop who's just sick of this damn job.
The thing is that as soon as the alien killed Bruce Willis...
No, I mean the alien is in the Bruce Willis role.
Oh, that's... yeah.
And he has to pick off the terrorists. Who are all predators.
No. They've tried putting Alien and Predator in the same universe, Joe. It's never
going to work, is it? Who are all Terminators?
Maybe.
Maybe
Maybe they are all just really bad Terminators.
They're all massive hulking men from foreign countries.
They also die... I was going to say they die in the amount of killing it takes to kill a human.
This is true. But Carl was hanging, presumably by his neck, for a large number of minutes, and he survived. He's a big man, though.
He's a big guy.
Yeah. Anyway, so for you.
Thank you.
So I'm tossing up whether Die Hard is better than Alien. I think it is. Alien's very slow. Die Hard is fast-paced. It's smart.
But Alien, this slow pace of Alien doesn't work against it, I think.
No, it doesn't. It works for the film, but I prefer a film with a more fast pace. And I love Die Hard. I love how smart it is. How everyone in there isn't an idiot. There's not really any stupid decisions that characters make. You can't look at it and go, well, if I was in that situation, I would have just done this and it would have fixed it.
There's one bit
where
one of the henchmen has his gun literally to McClane's face.
Yes.
For like a good 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And could have just killed him.
It's Carl, isn't it? I think, just before that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also the bit at the end where Gruber is like, I'm going to kill you now. And then they all just have a laugh for 10 seconds.
For a bit, yeah.
Except for his wife, who's really confused. Yeah, so there are moments like that, but for the most part, the plot points will work. I think it's the best story that we've discussed. The best script and story and
Blade Runner?
Intricate.
Oh, well, I suppose Blade Runner only becomes that when you look at it more deeply.
Yeah. But it's the best intricate story of all these characters.
Deathface.
I stand corrected. But, yes. I'm putting it second behind Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Because Die Hard is a great action movie, but I think Jurassic Park does more than just action. As in, it doesn't do action, it's a mix of genres. Yeah. And I like the mix of genres in Jurassic Park.
I'm just telling you what I'm putting in.
Go for it.
It's going below Alien, but ahead of Jurassic Park.
The opposite.
The opposite.
So that's third for you, isn't it?
It's third, yeah.
So I'm putting it second, you're putting it third.
Yeah. Because I think that, you say... you agreed that the slow pace of Alien doesn't affect it, but I prefer that kind of suspenseful...
Yeah?
Building up to something, yeah.
Yeah, because your top two films are both slow films. Blade Runner and Alien. Yeah. But, yeah. It's not wrong, it's just what you like. There appears to be a fire alarm.
These terrorists have broken... I will leave that recording.
Excuse me a moment. A few moments later.
It amazes me that you live in a house where just people will go, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, it's...
He could be a terrorist, Joe.
You never know. So where were we? We'd just done leaderboards, yeah?
Yeah.
Are we wrapping up then?
Also, I have one more thing.
Go on.
Which is that in the film, there's still...
Good grief. Anyway, yes, that. So you said you have one more thing.
Oh, yeah. They were still referred to them as terrorists.
Yes? William wasn't there with profound knowledge. Do you mean, even after they know that they're not terrorists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, taking, normal, hostages... People who take hostages aren't necessarily referred to as terrorists. Terrorists have to have some sort of ideological motivation.
Yeah, generally.
Oh, I suppose all the police and stuff kind of think they do because...
they make a list of demands, don't they?
Yeah, which is just phony.
Yeah, about their brothers in arms. Mm. Do you think they would have gotten away with it?
I never quite understood their getaway plan.
Hang on, let me work this through. The plan was to go up to the roof with all... So they told the police that they were going to be up on the roof with all the hostages.
Yeah.
And that they wanted to get into helicopters so they could escape, essentially, with the hostages. Yeah. But actually they were planning to blow up the roof with all the hostages.
And the police would assume they'd been killed in the
explosion. With all the hostages.
And then an ambulance
would sneak
out, but maybe it could have worked.
Yeah, not optimistic for them, really.
No.
Because they assume that when you get away with the money, then you can never be tracked down, even though you've come into a lot of bearer bonds. Yeah. What actually are bearer bonds?
I don't know.
Cool, good talk. They don't sound like money, though, do they?
I assume it's I think it's government-backed, just checks and things. So.
Yeah.
So that'll be £45 or 12 bearer bonds, please.
Well, yeah, okay, sure.
That's how it works. Alright, yes. I think we did it well.
Well.
Would you like to do the spiel? In your best Alan Rickman voice.
Okay. So, this episode of Practically Effective was effective, Mr. Potter. You can email us at practicallyeffective@gmail.com. Also, have you noticed that Alan Rickman always says FBI?
He really does.
He enunciates each letter.
Every single one. Yeah.
Anyway, you can email us at practicallyeffective@gmail.com. And,
I thought you had a well-orchestrated plan, Alan.
So did I. There's another... Oh, yeah. Yeah. We are also on Facebook and Twitter at practicallyfxbi. And you can listen to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes, Mr. Potter.
Yes.
Mr. Potter.
Good.
The podcast number 394.
That will be Ocean's 11 for you.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks for listening.
That's going to become... We're going to keep referring to that as like a hypothetical future podcast.
Oh,
it's going to be the one that we keep talking about and never do.
I love Ocean's 11. It's a very good movie.
Ocean's 12 is
And on that note, I'm going to find a new co-host. Jennifer Lawrence.
Please. Why don't we all three of us do it?
You have to admit Ocean's 12 isn't the best Ocean's movie.
Okay, fine. I'll admit anything you want.
Well, it's an open invitation. I was thinking, should we get...
Invite Jennifer Lawrence, yes.
I was going to say, should we get guests on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't know who we'd get on.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Assuming she's busy over the holiday season, would you be keen in the new year to see if we could find some other people to get on? What if I find another woman called Jennifer Lawrence?
Then no.
Can she come on the
No.
podcast? She'd be honoured that we have a section where we put her in movies.
No.
So we can have any guests as long as it's Jennifer Lawrence,
Jennifer
but not Jennifer Lawrence. The other Jennifer Lawrence I know. I don't know anyone called Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes. I think so. You confused me slightly. I think so.
Yeah, but I was just thinking if we do an episode on The Matrix, we find someone who really likes The Matrix. And then when we're like, does Neo do The Matrix? They can be like, wow,
yes.
In fact, he does. Truly, he doth The Matrix. Yeah. Then we can tell them cool and interesting things about special effects. Because that's our wheelhouse, isn't it, Will?
Yeah.
We're
a special effects podcast.
We are especially effective.
We are special.
And on that note, goodbye.
Bye.